Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, a returning senator is urging PhilHealth to defer its scheduled premium hike this month. Senate Majority Leader Migz Zubiri names the possible committee heads in the 19th Congress as he is poised to sit as the new Senate President. And how will the Senate supermajority push the agenda of the incoming Marcos administration? Senatorelect JV Ejercito joins us live. The author of the Universal Healthcare Law in the Senate is calling on PhilHealth to suspend its premium hike. The higher premium rate is a provision under the Universal Healthcare Law. Meantime, what can we expect from the new Senate leadership as the 19th Congress begins in July? Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Senatorelect JV Ejercito. Senator JV, welcome back to the source. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Yes, good morning, Pinky. Nice to be back here at the source again. Good morning to everybody.
Okay, so pag-usapan po muna natin, PhilHealth has or will increase contributions starting June 1. While we know that your work as a senator begins on July 25, once in office muna, yes. Siguro pagbalik niyo po sa 19th Congress, do you have any plans to file a measure to possibly ask for a postponement of this increase?
Yes, Pinky, as the principal sponsor and author of the Universal Healthcare Law, you must remember that when the law was being crafted and drafted, it was normal times, no? It was pre-pandemic. The economy of the world, no? And not only the Philippines, was really doing very well. Everybody has a security tenure. But now that we went on the pandemic in 2020, it's an abnormal situation. Right? We are in a health crisis. That's why, as the principal sponsor and author of this measure, I am calling on PhilHealth to suspend first the increase in premiums, because we are still in a pandemic. We are still in a health crisis situation. We have to let the economy recover first, and everybody has to recover first from this 2-year pandemic. So I am, as the principal sponsor, again, we are in an emergency situation, so I think PhilHealth has the power, no, to suspend the increase in the premium. In the premium.
Please tell us more about that. When you said that PhilHealth has the power to stop the increase, because PhilHealth is saying that in fact their hands are tied because this is forms part of the Universal Healthcare Law. Ang lumalabas nga po, sinasabi nila, wala silang choice, kailangan lang talaga nila itong ipatupad. In fact, this was supposed to be implemented in January of this year.
Yes, Pinky. Again, I'm the principal sponsor of this measure. Again, we are not in normal times. We are still recovering from the pandemic. In fact, we are still in the pandemic. So we have to adapt to the situation. No, everybody's still trying to get back on their feet. That's why I think President Duterte last year suspended the increase in premiums. I'm hoping that the incoming president, in fact, I had the chance to talk to him regarding the Universal Healthcare Law. I hope that I can have the chance again when everything is settled already. I will have an audience with him because he wants to prioritize the Universal Healthcare Law, which is really a good sign. But I would strongly suggest that while we are still recovering from this pandemic, we have to suspend everything. I think we can, as the vice chair of the Committee on Finance before, there are a lot of departments that have unused appropriations, no, that have really big budgets, no, and we can source from those so that we can subsidize PhilHealth's contributions, no, and to offset the PhilHealth's contributions.
But talking about PhilHealth itself, just to be clear on this, meron ho ba sila on their own the power or the right, meron ho ba silang kapangyarihan na wag ituloy itong increase from 3 to 4%? Or does this have to be an executive order coming from President Duterte for the meantime to suspend the premium hike?
Thinking from as far as I can remember, the president already issued an executive order suspending the premium, the increase in premiums. If it lapses, I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that he can again suspend an executive order suspending the said increase because of the situation. No? And I'm hoping to get the chance to talk to President-elect BBM again, so that I would strongly suggest to him to also suspend the increase in premiums, not unless we are already in the normal situation.
And what are you looking at this time around in the event that this could possibly be suspended once you are back in the Senate for the 19th Congress? Are you looking at possibly a suspension till the end of the year?
Thinking not unless the situation normalizes. No? I'm hoping that we can allow the economy to recover first. We can allow everybody to recover also from the impact brought about by this pandemic. So it's the president's discretion probably when he thinks that the situation is already right for the uplifting of to uplift the suspension. But again, going back, I'm hoping that I'll be vice chair of the Committee on Finance again. We can look at other departments have very big appropriations but are always unused at the end of the year. Maraming departments na hindi gumagamit. They have very big budgets, but at the end of the year, they have a lot of savings. So I'm looking at those budgets or departments that are not using or your absorptive capacity is not being used, or they're not maximizing. So I'm looking at those so that we can use it to subsidize the suspended premium, the intended revenues from the premium increase.
Would you know, Senator, how much is needed this year or how much more this contribution would be for 2022 if natuloy po yung 3 to 4% from January to December of 2022? Magkano po ba dapat yung makukuhang additional budget for PhilHealth?
Well, I don't have the numbers right now, Pinky, but I'll just go back to the needed appropriations for universal healthcare law to be implemented properly. From what I remember, 257 billion was needed for the first year of implementation. But what was appropriated was only 170 billion. Kaya nga, Pinky, hilaw siya. No? We were not able to really maximize or cover everybody. So I'm hoping that as the principal sponsor, again, I will be looking for other sources of funds or other budgets that are unused, and I'm hoping that we will be able to complete the needed 257 billion so that we can already, or the people can already feel the impact at least, although it's still a work in progress. But with the 257 billion that is needed to implement the UAC on this first year or second year, at least that it can already be felt by the general public.
Let's talk about the concerns, Senator, of OFWs, because this is also mandatory. It actually includes OFWs also having to pay PhilHealth premium, to which a number of them are against this because they're saying that abroad, they already have their own health insurance over there. And while we understand that kasama po naman dito, hindi lang sila, kundi yung kanilang beneficiaries, for example, their families. Are you rethinking of possibly making this not mandatory, but optional?
Well, that can be studied, Pinky. Again, as you mentioned, probably some OFWs doesn't realize that it's their whole family that will be covered as well. Kumbaga, hindi na nila poproblemahin. For example, may mga hospital sa kanilang pamilya, especially if it's complicated, at least their savings will not be affected because the government is already there to show their expenses of their family members. But there was no intention. I want to make it clear, Pinky, that there's no intention to burden our OFWs. We realize their contributions to the country. But again, I hope they understand that when the law was being drafted, it was normal situation. Everybody was earning well. The economy of the world was doing well. But there was no, again, walang intention na pahirapan po kayo. But the intention is for your family to also to be covered. And but we will review. Wala naman perfect PP. There's no perfect law. That's why after a year, we can amend. So we will take into consideration the concerns of our OFWs. Siyempre, we will always give attention and importance to them because, again, there are unsung heroes. No? There are modern-day heroes. Be rest assured that we will be reviewing our options for our OFWs so that it will not really, it will not be a burden to them. Wala namang intention talagang pahirapan kayo, but really to really help also their families.
So you're open to looking into the complaints of some of the OFWs or their appeal not to include them. But what about yung sinasabi lang natin, para lang clear po tayo, habang nasa transition ng administration, matutuloy po itong premium ngayong buwan ng June. There is nothing to stop this hike unless it's an order by President Duterte. Tama ho ba yun?
That's correct, Pinky. I'm hoping if I can get an audience with the president to suspend the intended increase. And I'm hoping, I had the chance already last week to talk to BBM, and with personally we discussed about the universal healthcare law on how it can move forward. Hopefully, in this time before he assumes or right after he assumes, I'm hoping that I'll be able to talk to him. And I will also recommend suspension of the PhilHealth contribution premiums in the meantime that we're still in a pandemic, in a crisis. And then I will make sure we will study that we can source funds so that we can help subsidize to offset what will be lost to the intended revenues.
Kasi kailangan ng 250 billion pesos for this year. Just another quick question on this. Are there other, you said of course, wala naman pong batas na perpekto. Are there other provisions in the universal healthcare law that you think need to be reviewed aside from the premium because of emergency, the situation that we are in right now, the appeal of the OFWs to make this optional and not mandatory? Are there any other provisions that you want to look into?
Well, as of now, Pinky, that's the only concern right now. But I think what needs to be done is really just to fund the universal healthcare law so that its impact can be realized already. The benefits can be realized as soon as possible. So, kasi from 170 billion to 257 billion, so we are at the low end. I would say of the implementation. It has to be maximized, and I am hoping that as I go back to the Senate, that's one of my campaign promises. And that's my intention, actually, Pinky, of going back to the Senate to make sure that we can give priority and importance to the implementation of the universal healthcare law.
Yes, during your campaign, you often said that while naipasa ang universal healthcare law, you want to continue on and make sure that it is implemented properly and effectively. We need to take a very short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today is Senatorelect JV Ejercito. I wanted to find out from you, Senator, bakit hindi po sa inyo napunta yung Committee on Health? Kasi I know, nung umalis kayo, nung natapos po yung inyong term, and then of course you lost after that and then won again now, to possibly implement this effectively, the universal healthcare law. You were the chairman of the Committee on Health. Bakit ho hindi ito napunta sa inyo sa darating na Kongreso?
Well, because there's an equity of the incumbent rule that we are following as a courtesy to the incumbent senators who are presently the chairman of the committee of the different committees. Usually, that is their that's their prerogative to keep the committees. But I have already requested, Pinky, that for me to be able to oversee the implementation of the universal healthcare law, that I be at least be made vice chair of the Committee on Health. To be honest, I was hoping, no, that I would get the chairmanship of the committee there, but now it's Senator Bongo, who's the incumbent chair of the committee. So I requested that I be the vice chair so that I can oversee the implementation of the universal healthcare at least.
And does it look like you will be able to get that, the vice chairmanship?
I think they will agree to it because they know the importance of the universal healthcare law, and likewise in my conversation, at least with the President-elect BBM, he was asking and he was concerned, and he really wants to make universal healthcare law a reality. No, so he wants really to prioritize it. So I'm hoping that I'll be given the chance to be vice chair so that I can really look into it, no? And make sure that it goes in the right direction.
Senator, because you mentioned that there's such a thing as equity of the incumbent, ibig sabihin, kapag yun ang committee chairmanship mo, sa susunod na kongreso, dapat more or less sa'yo ulit mapunta yun, di ba? What happened to Senator Pia Cayetano? Wasn't she the chairman or the chairperson of the Ways and Means Committee? And then I think that is going to Senator Win Gatchalian.
Well, also there is while there was negotiations, no, on who will be Senate President, kasama na rin minsan yung I have to be honest, yung committees, no, that will be offered. But I think
lobbying
Senator
of the
Pia,
committees.
Yes, but I think Senator Pia has consented, and I think she will be more looking at yung Committee on Women's and also SGD. No? I think that's her intended committees. No? So yung Ways and Means, I think, I'm not sure, but I think she really voluntarily gave it up. No? So that's why it ended up with Senator Win Gatchalian.
But does that mean because she gave it up that she's going to be with the minority? Ganon ho ba yun?
That's the decision. No? There's no final. There's still more than a month thinking, no, before the actual session starts. So that's when we start to vote. So I think, and we're hoping that we will be able to get a super majority so that we can really support the present administration. So from what I gather, they're still thinking whether to stick with the majority or go with the minority.
And you're talking about And you're talking about both Senators Pia and Alan Cayetano. Yun po yung sinasabi niyong posibleng pinag-iisipan pa nila kung saan sila mapupunta.
Yes, Vicky. From what I know, there's a line naman, no, that is open between presumptive Senate President Migz Zubiri and the Cayetano siblings. I think they are also talking. So we still have time.
How big is the supermajority right now? How many are you?
With Senator Villar backing out already, so I think that's probably 18 to 20. As of now, yung minority will only be about 2 to 4. So it depends, no? Kung whatever the decision of the Cayetano siblings, if they choose to join the minority, they will be 4, 20, and 4.
Right. That's what I was thinking as well, because it seems like the people sure right now would be Senator Risa Ontiveros and Senator Coco Pimentel. Sabi pa nga si Senator Coco, posibleng maging Senate Minority Leader. But yung pong, I was also wondering about some of the committee chairmanship. For example, si Senator Villar, wala pa po siyang committee chairmanship. At wala pa rin pong chairman sa Blue Ribbon, although what I heard was that it is being offered to Senator Francis Tolentino at hindi pa daw tinatanggap. Bakit ho may ganun?
From what I gather, Senator Villar requested to retain the Committee on Agriculture and Committee on Environment. And likewise, Senator Migz Zubiri wanted the Blue Ribbon Committee wants to offer it to Senator Tolentino because he's also a lawyer. And I think he's capable of heading the committee. But Senator Tolentino is still out of the country. So probably that's the reason why he has not yet accepted the offer.
Oh, sorry. I think I should have made it clear. I was talking about the son, not as you call Mama Bear. Wala pa pong committee chairmanship si hindi ho ba si Senator Villar, not Senator Cynthia Villar?
Oh, Senator, probably there's still a lot of committees, that I think major committees that were left to their group, that were offered to the group. So it's up to them on how they will distribute those committees that was allotted to their group, so-called group, because they were late. No, we were in kami yung unang I would say 12, no, because we belong to the seatmates group. So when Senator Villar decided not to withdraw from the Senate presidency race, there's still a lot of committees that were really reserved, no, for the group.
Reserved for them.
I think it's up to them. Yes, we will it's up to them, no, on how they will distribute those committees.
Senator JV, just very recently, in fact, yesterday, the officials of Farmally, Lincoln Ong and Dargani, were released because, natapos na po yung 18th Congress. Senator Risa Ontiveros is saying this is something that she could take on in the 19th Congress while you were gone during the 18th Congress. Would you be open to again looking into this draft report of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee regarding Farmally?
Thinking if those involves public funds, then definitely we are concerned with it. No? But although I was not part of the 18th Congress, I not to protect the president, but I really knowing him, he really has a simple lifestyle. I don't think he will be involved in this. But probably for sure, some people really took advantage, no, of this deal. So I am not really privy to this because I was not part. But I'm open to look into this because this involves public funds, and yun ang problema sa ating bansa, Pinky. Just like PhilHealth, yung mga anomalies, yung mga scandals and scams, somebody has really to be accountable para wala na natatakot magnakaw sa ating bayan. So I'm open to look into that. No?
Okay.
As long as we have to consider all the evidences.
So I guess what you're saying is you're not siguro in agreement because the committee, the draft report included possible charges kay President Duterte, but you're willing to look into this with regards to the other individuals, such as those that I mentioned, the Darganis and Lincoln Ong, who were released yesterday. Open po kayo sakaling buksan ulit ito sa 19th Congress, and you would keep an open mind and look into this as well. Okay, just quickly, you are going to head the Committee on Local Government and I believe also Higher Education. Just siguro quickly, being the chairman of the Committee on Local Government, hindi naman po ito bago sa inyo, ano hong nakikita niyong kailangan gawin or to oversee for the local government?
Well, probably it will be a challenge this time now that the Mandanas-Garcia ruling will be implemented. So we have to monitor how the local government units respond to it, no, in the first few years of implementation. Then we will decide later on if there'll be amendments or adjustments that will be needed. Likewise, also as a former local government official, I have to also support whatever issues right now that the LGUs would need to improve their services. Probably ito yung pinaka-biggest challenge, Pinky, that I would want to look into now that the Mandanas-Garcia ruling will take into effect. So I would closely monitor how the provinces, how the cities and the municipalities will respond to it, so that we can make the proper adjustments later on. After a year or two, we can already we can introduce amendments so that we can make sure that the delivery of services will be better.
Again, we need to take a very short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our source today, Senatorelect JV Ejercito. You met, along with other senators, with President-elect Bongbong Marcos a couple of days ago. Can you just tell us more about that meeting? What were his marching orders? Ano yung sinabi niyang kailangang i-pursue in terms of the legislative agenda?
Actually, Pinky, President BBM was really concerned on the rehabilitation, reconstruction of the economy, if you want to call it, because of the pandemic, the effects of the pandemic in the past 2 years. So he was really concerned on how we will be able to go back to the normal situation, on how we will be able to provide jobs to those that were affected. So that was his number one priority, the economic recovery and the rehabilitation, really from the effects of the pandemic. So that's the number one marching order.
How challenging do you think your stint will be, or even this incoming administration, considering all the major issues that we are facing right now? 13 trillion budget, rising prices of fuel, hindi lang po yun, pati prices of goods, problems on supply, etc. Sir, how are you looking at the next possible 6 months of this year, the last 6 months rather of this year?
Well, it will be a very, very challenging situation. Right, we are in a very challenging situation right now, Pinky, because I think the 2-year impact of the pandemic was just really too big a burden, no, to surmount right now. But with the 31 million mandate, I hope that we can take advantage of that the president was given. Hopefully, everybody would really join forces and really work together so that we can work on the rehabilitation of the economy as soon as possible. But thinking on my personal side, if I get the chance to be had an audience with the president, I would discuss with him, of course, the universal healthcare law, which we discussed already briefly. Second, in terms of economic development, I know it's a tough measure, but I would strongly suggest that we continue on the basic infrastructure development so that we can catch up, no, with the ASEAN neighbors, so that once the world opens up again, the Philippines will be ready in terms of infra development, and hopefully also the cost of electricity we will have a solution so that we can be attractive again to foreign investors that will bring in investments and provide jobs and opportunities so that we can recover as soon as possible.
Senator, baka gusto mo na rin i-pursue yung matagal mo nang sinasabi na kailangan ng finance expert to head PhilHealth, because of course this will be appointed by the president. Maybe it's high time that should be repeated over and over again.
Yes, that is correct, Pinky. Yes, Pinky, okay. That is correct. I'm hoping that this time around that a financial expert with actuarial knowledge will be appointed to head PhilHealth. And likewise, Pinky, what is more important is that those that were involved in the scandals and scams that took advantage of PhilHealth's funds, they should be prosecuted and sent to jail if necessary, so that nobody would take advantage anymore of PhilHealth, so that the funds will go to those that are who really need assistance.
Kasi may up casing, and syempre ngayon naman, sir, I'm sure narinig nyo at nabasa nyo, may down casing. But sir, we've run out of time. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, Senator-elect JV Ejercito.
Thank you, Pinky.
And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.